Welcome, welcome, everyone. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful day of celebration and transformation. And I just finished an interview with Kia Miller, who is my yoga master over on Instagram. So she had really great questions. So you might want to go over there and check it out. It's kiamilleryoga.com. And yeah, she actually wrote one of the forewords for my book. And so she actually is, knows it well and so on. So I want to invite you to our 12 o'clock session for today and let you know that this morning in the 10 o'clock session, I did read some pieces from the book. I'm going to read some different pieces from the book now, but you might want to go check those out if you're interested in hearing a little bit more about it. I want to let you know that we've hit number one in two different categories so far today, and we're number three in the category I never thought we'd get anywhere in. I don't. It's like personal growth and spirituality or something like that. So that's pretty awesome. So we'll see. And yeah, and I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, to go and get the book today. And the Kindle version is free. And if you do want the Kindle version, just click the button that says buy with one click here or something like that. You do not need to have Kindle Unlimited in order to get the Kindle version. And I am an advocate of the Kindle version just because we're not using trees. But I also like hardback versions because that's me. And I've been, a book person my entire life. So, all right. So in order to buy the book, you just go to femininesovereigntybook.com. And when you do get it through our website, you will also get a giveaway. You'll be redirected to a place. There's 8 different bonuses from our partners. So it's just a nice extra gift for you and a way for you to get to know who our partners are and get to know them and get to know their work a little bit. And then also you'll be bonused into a 3-session masterclass with me called Taking Command of Your Life with Feminine Sovereignty. And I'm delighted to do that because I want to meet more of you. I create videos and I live stream and do that kind of stuff, but I really like getting to meet you. So that's, a selfish reason that I decided to create the masterclass. But I also know that it will help you to get started and to get grounded with the book itself. So I know that life purpose. Oh, actually, before I do that, I also want to let you know that you have the opportunity, if you want to enter a raffle that we'll do at the 5 o'clock session today. And the raffle, I'll be raffling off 3 signed copies of the book, which we will mail to you after I get my copies and can sign them and mail them to you. And then also I'm going to raffle off 2 different 1-hour sessions with me, which can be a human design reading, combined with looking at your aspects of your feminine sovereignty and where you might want to be working and developing with that. So those are 5 things that we'll be raffling off at 5 o'clock. And in order to participate, you just go to femininesovereigntybook.com/win. And it's just a simple opt-in. Just give us your name and your email. And then if you win a book, we'll reach out to you to get your mailing address also. Okay. So that is that, right? Okay. So the giveaway, the masterclass, the win, the raffle, how fun. So I want to read to you from a piece about purpose. One of the main things that people come to me for as a human design expert is wanting to know what their life purpose is, which I think is very interesting, that we're looking for something that will tell us that. And what I say to people when they come with that is I'll say, well, I can't really tell you your life purpose because you're the expert on you. I'm the expert on human design, and we can use your human design and we can look at human design as a tool for you. to determine if your human design helps you understand your purpose. But I like to talk about more the looking for the feeling of being on purpose than for thinking that like you have a life purpose and you have to get it. And I know that there is conversation in the human design world where people say they will tell you what your purpose is. I will just say always run it through your own sensibility and use your human design authority. Just always run it through your own system because there are things that are super important to me that I feel make me feel on purpose and are a big part of why I'm here that are not in my human design. I mean, they're not in what's defined in my human design. They're in the parts that are open. So I've developed a lot of wisdom in those areas. And that's not something if somebody just picked up my chart and was going to do a reading for me, they would never pick those things out because they're not defined in my chart. So not to, throw a wrench into the human design world, but I say this because I think it's really, really vital that you have sovereignty of your self-perception and your understanding of what makes you feel on purpose. So rather than thinking that there is some life purpose that you get, like it's like a treasure hidden in a chest somewhere that you have to unearth, is to look for what gives you the feeling of being on purpose. What gives you that feeling? And I'm going to read a little bit from the book, but if you'd like to share in the comments or the chat, wherever you are, about what makes you feel on purpose, I would love to hear. Okay. So every one of the pillars begins with actually, I'm not going to read that part. I'm going to read this part. Sorry. So this is the beginning of this section. It's right after this little story that starts the chapter or the pillar number 5. Pillar number 5 is know your purpose and your contribution, knowing one's place in and contribution to the larger world in ways that inspire, satisfy, regenerate, and influence. And this has a picture of my dear friend and creativity mentor, Shiloh Sophia McLeod, as she is doing a painting in a class I did with her recently. So she's a very on purpose person. And when you get the book, you can find out all about her. Okay. We humans are purposeful, contributing beings. My experience is that most people find it more helpful to seek out what makes them feel on purpose rather than finding their life purpose. Purpose is intangible, a feeling or state of consciousness rather than a thing to be discovered or uncovered. So think about that for a moment. The feeling of purpose. Purpose is a state of consciousness, right? And so you're looking to cultivate that state of consciousness. When feeling on purpose, you might feel a deep sense of being well used, that you're contributing the best of what you have to give, that you're expressing your best self and how you're showing up in the world. That feeling of being on purpose arises when your actions and attitude contribute in a positive way to something that matters to you. If feeling on purpose names an inner state of being, then contribution names that which you provide to something outside yourself, your family, team, community, neighborhood, the ecosystem in which you live, organizations you admire, clients or customers you serve, and so on. You can point to ways you've contributed to a project or to a person or a group of people or an organization. Even if it's like holding space for a couple or a group to work through their differences, contribution still feels more tangible than being on purpose. Purpose and contribution walk hand in hand through your days, providing you with fuel and direction. The feeling of being on purpose reflects your direct connection with your inner being, your soul self. It's like your little self, the you of everyday life, the you that you know is you, and your infinite self, the great being who animates your body with a portion of her energy, dance harmoniously together through your days. Visionary activist astrologer Caroline Casey once shared with me that the old definition of old meaning ancient, right? A definition of enthusiasm is that, quote, that which makes the God within you dance. The Oxford English Dictionary says, quote, inspired or possessed by a God. Hmm, interesting. What is enthusiasm but your inner fire pumping to the beat of your heart's desire, and how that desire and fire expresses out into the world? The fire of enthusiasm burns away the dross of doubt, suspicion, and fear, opening the clear path before you into your desired future. It refuses to be thrown off track by others' opinions and warnings, preferring the direction channeled from deep within. Not even needing words, enthusiasm's fire lights possibilities not visible from inside more compressed and conditioned states of consciousness. So let's just talk about them. Well, let me finish this paragraph and then let's unpack that a little bit. When the God within you dances, waves of potential crystallize into particles of form at the focal point of your attention. Your inner divine being is in command, and your human self, relieved, joyfully follows her energetic direction. When aligned and clear, this relationship creates the feeling of being on purpose and making the contribution you came here to make. So, if purpose is a state of consciousness, right? It's when the God within us is dancing or we're possessed by a God, that we are able to command energy to crystallize into form, also known as manifestation. And we are often conditioned away from feeling on purpose. We're taught that we should look for a stable job. We should look for, something that gives us a good income, with the belief that somehow that income is going to provide us not only with stability, but with happiness. But it doesn't necessarily. And many ones of us haven't really even been supported to dig into what would make us feel on purpose. Like, that's not a criteria that gets talked about a lot, like in career counseling. They might be like, well, what do you like to do? But that's not the same as when you feel like that fire is going in you. Not even needing words, enthusiasm's fire lights possibilities not visible from inside more compressed and conditioned states of consciousness. So think for a moment about something that makes you feel enthusiastic. Like, just take a moment and be like, what am I enthusiastic about? Or when was the last time I felt enthusiasm about something? And see if you can recall what that feels like in your body. Like right now, I feel very enthusiastic. This is a big day for me. I have a lot of energy. And so what I feel is like this expansion of possibility, this expansion of energy. And I can feel that the flow of life, the universe, the creative intelligence of the all that is, however you want to think of that kind of God force, is flowing through me. It's always flowing through me. It's always flowing through you, but it's flowing through in a different way because of feeling on purpose, because of the enthusiasm, because I'm doing the thing that I know I'm here to do. And so when we feel enthusiasm and we feel on purpose, we create more space so that we can receive the downloads from that creative and consciousness, creative intelligence of the universe, right? So that we can receive the divine guidance, so we can receive the breakthrough ideas. And that is what moves our world forward. It moves us individually forward. It moves all of us forward. Whereas when we're in a more conditioned and programmed ways of being, and we're trying to get ourselves to fit into what we've been told will bring us success or happiness or satisfaction or money or a lover or whatever it is, right? This compressed way of being, there's no space for the mystery to help us. And yet we're designed very, very much to be dancing with this flow of life. So, Adrienne, hello, Adrienne. She says, I feel on purpose when I'm doing what I love and enjoy. It feels fun or even challenging, but I am engaged and in flow. Exactly. Exactly. Right. Doesn't mean that something isn't challenging. Like writing my book was challenging. It was challenging, but I felt very on purpose. I felt, this word has a negative connotation a lot, but I felt driven. I felt an inner drive. Those of you who are human design people, my moon, which in human design is what drives you, is in the gate 54, which is the gate of ambition. So no wonder I'm a driven person. But I don't do things I don't feel on purpose about, unless I have to, like doing my taxes. I don't feel on purpose doing my taxes. But for most of my life, I get to do what makes me feel on purpose. And I want that for you. The thing is a lot of times when people come to me for a human design reading, they've given away their power of self-understanding so much to their conditioning that they don't a lot of times know what they really want. They might not even know what they feel enthusiastic about. Sometimes people are very kind of dead in terms of dead's a strong word, but suppressed in terms of their aliveness. So that's why when I work with people, I do use human design. It is a powerful tool. It is helpful. There are definitely aspects of my design, like when I learned that I had a predominance of the knowing circuit and individual circuitry, it really helped me be like, oh, yeah, I'm not designed to fit in. No wonder. I'm here to be a expressive force for the evolutionary impulse of humanity. Oh, and that gave me a sense of purpose that helped me to understand why I'm drawn to the things that I'm drawn to and why, in my life I don't fit into, certainly I don't fit into like institutions or, I have that individual impulse. And so that really helped me understand myself a whole lot better. But the broad strokes of that, right, a purpose were that I'm here to help create change. Well, that doesn't really help me know what I'm doing from day to day in my life, right? But it did help me to understand and accept and love myself in a really different way. So I want to ask you, and some of you, some new ones have joined, and probably some people have gone in and out. This is how these lives go, right? Is to share with us about what makes you feel on purpose to the degree that you know. Or also, if you have any questions or anything that I've shared so far, I'd love to hear from you. Um, but yeah, what makes you feel alive? What lights you up? I know for me, like dancing, which is not defined in my chart, right? Dancing brings me so alive. I love it, right? I feel very on purpose when I am expressing myself in that way. It's not what I do for work. It's not how I create money, but it is a way that I feel super alive. So when you're looking for your purpose, my suggestion is that you are just checking out what it is that makes you feel that way. And if you have a hard time discerning that, one of the things you can do is go back through your life and make an accounting of when you really felt on purpose. Like, when did you feel really alive? When did you have the most enthusiasm? Because that'll help you understand. When I did that for myself, it helped me get that there had been many times when I had felt on purpose, and then it had changed. So for me, like that I'm here to bring change, that I'm mutative, right? That I'm part of this evolutionary energy. I have changed and changed and changed and changed, living multiple lifetimes in this one lifetime. If if you feel that way too, just say yes in the comments, right? It's like it's having changed. So it's not like one thing makes me feel on purpose. But the feeling of being on purpose, I could track. So you may find that helpful for you. So I'm going to read another piece here. Let's see, do I want to read this one? Actually, I want to read this section about the purpose of feminine sovereignty. Recalling the larger purpose of feminine sovereignty, this book provides you with frameworks for stepping into your role as a wayshower, changemaker, and leader of some kind. You'll discover and create your own way to midwife yourself into a more healthy, vibrant, equitable, regenerative, and creative new world you'd be proud to leave to future generations. The Thrutopian imperative. I'll just say here, as a side note, I learned about Thrutopia and took a class on Thrutopia from Amanda Scott, who is one of my mentors, who wrote a foreword for the book. So she's in here, and she's a huge proponent of Thrutopia, and we'll be having a Thrutopian novel coming out in the spring. Feminine sovereignty evolves individualistic notions of sovereignty into becoming compassionate, sovereign stewards of our planet who make the well-being of all beings, including the living world, our priority. And let me read that again. There's a lot in there. Feminine sovereignty evolves individualistic notions of sovereignty. So let me just say what I mean by that. This is this kind of sovereign citizen that, now you have to remember, I'm an Americanist. So I do focus on the United States because of my training, but it's not because I think the United States is the center of the world. So please understand that. So anyway, as an Americanist by training, we have in the United States this idea of the sovereign citizen who is basically a white man, who sometimes has had to be landed and sometimes didn't, but who is that person who's like, I have sovereignty. I am free. I can do what I want to do as long as I'm not harming other people. Probably heard that one, right? It's very individualistic. But what it obscures is the history of colonialism, for example, that has structured who has access to that kind of individual sovereignty. And, most women, people of color, certainly indigenous people, did not get to be a part of that. Okay. So feminine sovereignty, we're distinguishing feminine sovereignty from the way that a lot of people use sovereignty today. Like I even saw a thing about, somebody who was talking about, like with their, I'm sovereign. I get to have my assault rifles, right? But we're getting to see what's happening here in the United States with people who feel like they're sovereign and they have assault rifles and they apparently don't have any responsibility to the collective. Not so good, right? So we want feminine sovereignty, which evolves individualistic notions of sovereignty into becoming compassionate stewards, sovereign stewards of our planet. So this is the transformation that we're in, right? Is to become compassionate, sovereign stewards of our planet who make the well-being of all beings, including the living world, our priority. That's all people and all living beings. And this is vital, right? Because without this, when we are either in tribalism, where we're kind of like, we're sovereign of our tribe and our tribe is better than your tribe, and we're going to go to war with you if we don't like what you do, which we see right now in the world, right? But people do this individually also. So we want a sovereignty that is benevolent, that is heart-centered, that is compassionate, that's caring. Because after all, sovereignty, you have to be sovereign of something, right? And so we want to be sovereign of our own ability to take care of our world. And we need to make this change, because if we don't, our world isn't going to be able to keep taking care of us as it has been. As such, yes, we need to grow ourselves along the lines laid out in pillars 1 through 4. This is actually in the transition in the book. While this is necessary, it's also insufficient if our intention is to evolve beyond individualism and the extractive ways that characterize it. The sovereignty of individualism doesn't value communication, pillar 6, or collaboration, pillar 7, or compassion, pillar 8. This version of sovereignty embedded in the story of progress in the American dream values autonomy, self-determination, and personal freedom, but not responsibility. It leaves aside the matter of how we live in the world with each other and other beings with whom we share this planet and the earth herself. This sovereignty covers up the power dynamics that undergird its force. Individualism became a philosophy that justified the behavior of Euro-American men in, quote, pioneering, creating industry, and exploiting white women, BIPOC, natural resources, and the land itself. I can do whatever I want as long as I don't harm others. Like I was just saying, every man for himself. May the best man win. Every man can make his own fortune, and his situation in life results only from his own efforts, right? This is the bootstrapping, right, that most of us have grown up with. Nowhere in this philosophy does responsibility for the consequences of his actions figure in, nor does accountability to the well-being of other people, other species, or ecosystems, or the communal water and air supply. We're the only species who've agreed it's okay, if tacitly, to poison our communal air and water supply. Like, how did that happen, right? This is about us not really, truly being sovereign. Feminine sovereignty, in contrast, values and calls for pillars 6, 7, and 8. These pillars evolve sovereignty to include ways of being, acting, and perceiving that acknowledge and honor the radical diversity of our world and our interconnectedness in the web of life. I use feminine to name the relational quality of existence. Feminine sovereignty, then, while acknowledging the power and responsibility of each of us to grow ourselves emotionally, physically, energetically, and spiritually, also situates us in relationship to each other, other beings, and the earth. The question arises, how do sovereign beings best communicate and collaborate for the highest good of all? How do we acknowledge and support each other's sovereignty as we work together to create the new world we sense and long for? All right. Well, of course, there's much more. All right, my dears. How are you feeling? Anybody wanting or willing to let me know how this has landed for you and how you're feeling right now? I'd love to get a little input in that way. And I will just again say that you can get the Kindle version for free today, or you can get the paperback. And I like the paperbacks myself, but both are good. And the Kindle's good because it doesn't involve any trees. So that's always good. And you do not have to do the Kindle Unlimited. You can just hit the button that says buy with one click. And you'll get it through our website, femininesovereigntybook.com. So you can get your bonuses, you can get your masterclass, and you can get the giveaway. And remember, you can go to femininesovereigntybook.com/win to enter into the raffle for a signed copy of the book. I'm going to go through those later. And then also to win a session with me, and we can do human design and feminine sovereignty together. And I will be running that raffle at 5 p.m. The last thing I'll say is please do donate to treesisters.org. If you have received value from things I have provided to you, and go check them out as a really great organization. And they're helping women and girls in many different parts of the world be able to have more sovereignty of their lives through helping to rebuild their ecosystems. So it's really a great endeavor that they are promoting and they're involved in, and you can go and check it out for yourself. All right, so we're going to wrap up for this session today. I'm going to take a little break. And then we have the readers panel is coming on at the top of the hour, whatever hour it is for you, wherever you are in the world. Here on the Pacific Coast, it'll be 1 p.m. And I know for our European friends, your time has changed where our time hasn't. So check the time in your zone for sure. So come back and hear from the readers about what they have to say. Then at 2:30, I'll be talking to Robin Wynn, who is the best-selling author of 3 different human design books. And we'll be talking about human design. And then we will close out the day at 5 p.m. Pacific, and we will run the raffle. And we'll get to see who I get to connect with. And I am just delighted that you'll get to come and connect with me in the masterclass. So taking command of your life with feminine sovereignty. All right, everybody, many blessings, much love. Bye for now.